Freezer meal casseroles. These meals have been probably my favorite freezer meals so far. Here I am making a Philly steak. Is that what it's called? A Philly steak casserole. A Philly cheesesteak casserole? I don't know. Let me know down below because my brain is like working at minimal speed right now. But I cut up my beef into really tiny pieces and I cooked them down just for a little bit. And now I'm cooking my veggies in that juices and everything of the beef rendered out. I didn't really get much of a sear. I'm just making a casserole, just making this quick and easy. There's onions, garlic, bell pepper in there. Mixing that around, add my beef back. And it's really easy. You're going to add some cream cheese. You're going to add your cheese. And this is not my recipe. I found this online and it's actually really good. It's not my girl's favorite, but it is a really good meal. And it's definitely really, really good to have as a freezer meal casserole. Added in my pasta, added in my cheese. I'm topping it with whatever left I had of, I think this was like provolone or something like that. I don't even know at this point. Okay, just topped it with cheese. You can bake. I made one for the day of for lunch and I made one for the freezer. So the one for the freezer, I just covered it up and put it, once it was completely cooled, I covered it up. I did not do the final bake or the cheese melts and everything like that. And you can even make it like kind of mix eggs and milk and together like a macaroni pie and make it like that as well. In this bowl here, it's another day and I'm making another lunch. One for lunch, one for the freezer kind of thing, and this is my baked chicken. This is probably one of my favorite ones to make for the freezer because it is just so good. It's so, you would not even have a clue that this was like a freezer meal because it's just so delicious after you pull it out the freezer and cook it. I season this up with onions, garlic, ketchup, barbecue sauce, Italian seasoning, whatever. I have thyme, cilantro. I have this recipe and I'll leave that link down below. The only thing I don't add to my freezer meal is potatoes. You don't want to freeze raw potatoes. So unless you're cooking it beforehand and stuff, which you can do, but I don't cook it. So you see this one here is going to go in the freezer. I'm going to triple foil this up just with some carrots, no potatoes, and this is going to go directly in the freezer uncooked. And I'll make sure and write on the label as well that this is uncooked chicken, so it has to bake a little bit longer if you're just pulling it out the freezer. So I'm just foiling this up as best as I can. I'm going to write on the label on the top that it is uncooked and whatever date I made it, because these are good for about 3 months in the freezer. Again, this is one of my favorite ones because it is just so good. But the day of I'm cooking it up, I put potatoes and everything in the same dish. So it's kind of like a one casserole dish meal and it's really easy, really good. I'll leave that link down below for you. To go with that baked chicken, I'm making some macaroni pie. I made a whole bunch, I think maybe 2 boxes of these elbow noodles. I think they were organic ones from Target. And this is a massive blue bowl. This is the biggest bowl that I have. And it was pretty much filled to the brim. I was using a pot, a small saucepan to scoop out all of those elbow noodles to make this. And I got 4 macaroni pies out of this, 1 for the day of eating with the baked chicken and 3 for the freezer. The freezer meal ones, I'm gonna bake these all up, wait for them to cool completely. I will leave my macaroni pie recipe down below as well. It's just a lot of cheese, milk, eggs, a little bit of mustard, just all that good stuff in there, and mix that up and bake it, and it's just the perfect side. Okay, it's like mac and cheese but an adult version, I guess. I don't know, my little ones absolutely love macaroni pie. Who doesn't love macaroni pie? So here's my 3 freezer meal ones. I'm gonna bake these up, wait for them to completely cool, triple foil them up, and then they're going to go in the freezer. These are great sides for meatloaf or anything. It's just great to have it as a side, so it's great to have it in the freezer. We're going to have one with the baked chicken and definitely meatloaf, which I'm making here right now actually in this clip here. Another day, another lunch, and another freezer meal. I honestly really wish I had doubled or tripled up my meatloaf recipe for the freezer because we already had that We already went through most of these casserole dishes, and I just have about 2 left of them, which is very, very, very sad to me because they were so good and they made life so much easier. But this is the meatloaf one, and this is another favorite of mine. I really wish I had doubled it up or tripled it up, but I didn't, so here we are making the meatloaf. Again, I have this recipe and I will leave that link down below. It's exactly the same, except when I am making it for a freezer, I'm not going to bake it fully. I might bake it just a little bit, and then we're going to put that glaze on top. And once you put the glaze on it, you can just let it cool completely and put it in the freezer, or you can bake it with the glaze and then put it. But you just want it to heat up in the oven the day of cooking this, after you take it out the freezer. Super easy, super straightforward, and this is why I love meatloaf so much. Next time I make meatloaf, I think I'm gonna just do some freezer meals for it again, because even though the newborn stages, you know, this is typically all these freezer meals are for postpartum and the newborn days, but I feel like having these on hand any time of the year, newborn stages or not, it's going to be helpful. So mustard, ketchup, barbecue sauce, parm. We have our onion, bell pepper, and garlic, a little bit of barbecue sauce, our eggs, milk. Everything just goes into the bowl, mix it up, and form into a loaf. I use ground turkey for my meatloaf. I don't think I ever use ground beef for my meatloaf, because I just feel like even if I buy the leanest ground beef, it's just too much fat that oozes out, and I just don't like that. Something about it, I just don't like the oozing out fat around the sides of the pan. Even though the ground turkey does have some liquid that comes out, which here I added in, I think, about 4 pounds of ground turkey. And I'm mixing that really well. I love to fold my meat over in itself for a few times, just to kind of, I don't really add much breadcrumbs or anything to this to help it become whatever it is, but so I still want it to have some form to it, but still be nice and moist. Don't want it to be dry, but I still wanted to have some form. So that's why I like to fold my meat over and work that meat in. So that is for the day of cooking, which it will probably be a Saturday I was making this. The reason I say that is because I love to make a meatloaf on a Saturday, and that is because I cook for Saturday and Sunday, because Sunday is a church day here, and look, I'm like picking some out to try and make sure it's as even as possible, but I try to make sure that I don't have to cook on a Sunday because it's church and I like to just relax on that day. So we have meatloaves for leftover. It's just something I could really make a double up off and have it the next day. We are making shepherd's pie here. I've got ground turkey again, peas, carrots. I recently shared my recipe for my Pilgrims Pie, which is my shepherd's pie made with ground turkey. And I will leave that link down below. So if you want any of these recipes, they will be linked down below. My mashed potato, this mashed potato that I'm making here for the freezer, I did not put any eggs in it. Sometimes I do put eggs in my mashed potato if I really want a rich mashed potato. But here we go. Here's my casseroles. At the bottom of my casseroles, I have my container with my Instant Pot freezer meals. And then I layered my casserole dishes on top, and I just have it in one corner. So all my freezer meals are in one corner. I have 3 macaroni pies. I have shepherd's pie, meatloaf, cheeseburger, which I don't seem to have it in this video, but I did make a cheeseburger casserole as well, and I did make some enchiladas, which you'll probably be seeing soon. But this is how I stack it up. My macaroni pies are there on top, and all the casserole dishes that are the same size, obviously, I put it there. So I'm making some enchiladas here now, again, one for the day off and another one for the freezer. Oh, little one is having a dream. So we are wrapping up these are the organic tortillas from Costco. Man, I love these tortillas from Costco. They are organic. The ingredients are really good. I tried getting organic ones from Target before, but I still did not like the ingredients in them. These have pretty decent ingredients, and I just love them because you get I would probably say about 40 tortillas for maybe $7. I could be wrong on the amount and the price, but either way, it's a really good deal. That much I do know. So I have chicken that I cooked up in the Instant Pot, my taco shredded up chicken, and I have some rice with beans and spices and all of that. Wrapped it up in my wraps, poured enchilada sauce at the bottom and top, topping it with some cheese. And there we go. I also have some jerk chicken. Now, the jerk chicken that I'm making the day of is a casserole. It's going to be in a casserole dish, but I don't think I had any leftover. Actually, I did have casserole dishes, but I didn't want to make a big one because my freezer was getting filled. So what I did was I just made my chicken. I rubbed this marinade all over the chicken and placed it in a Ziploc bag. And that, all I have to do is pop that in one of my Pyrex dishes and pop it into bake the day of. So salt, pepper, seasoned it up. My jerk chicken marinade, which is onions, garlic. We've got a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg, a little bit of allspice, thyme. I like to add cilantro to mine, ketchup, brown sugar. I'm going to be just mixing this up and putting some in a Ziploc bag, which will go in the freezer. I did share this recipe a really long time ago, and I make it pretty much exactly the same. There's a little bit of apple cider vinegar in there. Forgive all the movement around on the camera here. But it's a bunch of good flavors in this marinade that I blend all up with lots of onion and garlic and some ginger. Marinate it up and pop this into bake. This is the day that we're having this. This is probably another Saturday that I'm making this because this is another one that I like to make. We can have leftovers for Saturday and Sunday. I make my coconut beans and rice with this, and I also make macaroni pie with this as well. So another one to have macaroni pie with. We're just going to mix this chicken up, place it in a Ziploc bag or a casserole dish because this is technically a casserole video. And that is it. Making these meals have been so amazing. This is the baked chicken that I had baked up and I just put on the broiler for a little bit. Oh my goodness, it is so good. I think I made some quick potato salad and then had with like beans, green beans and stuff on the side. I hope this is helpful to you. If you were getting and prepping for your postpartum phase and part of life, definitely make some freezer meals because it will make your life so much easier. It's so helpful to have these on hand. I'm so grateful that I took the time to do it, and yeah, they really helped. I think I had about maybe 5 or 6 casseroles in there, and then I had have the Instant Pot meals. I still have the Instant Pot meals that I haven't really used. I shared that video of the ones that I made before. I haven't used the Instant Pot ones, but the casserole ones, they were so delicious. I love that it's just as good as fresh. So if you're not someone who has an Instant Pot, if you're not a huge Instant Pot fan or crock pot lover or anything like that, just double up or triple up on some casseroles a day of cooking and you will be good to go. So this is me here sharing where I was making my Instant Pot meals. So I hope that you guys get some help or inspiration from this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.